Greetings, Tenno of all ages. This is Warpants. I'm Gleep, he is Sorrien, and the only thing that can save us now is a Christopher Walken dance montage. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yes. They transcend magic and science into something bigger. I don't know why.
Much more horrifying.
Much more horrifying, yet soothing and relaxing, and nothing that I have encountered has ever made me more want to just surrender my soul to some dark power. How's that?
It's the walking power.
Power. Oh.
Oh.
I'm gonna tap dance into your soul. You know, there has got to be like a how to do a good Christopher Walken impression video on YouTube somewhere, you know. I mean, because I would pay for like professional lessons. You know, just no, I don't want to sing. I don't want to be able to speak publicly. I just want to be able to sound like that guy.
See if I can find that on Pluralsight.
All right, excellent. So, how you doing? How has your week been?
Pretty good. Been playing a lot of Warframe in this fascinating new update.
Yes, indeed. And what's the weather like there? It's becoming spring very quickly here.
It ranges from a warm, sunny day to cold as balls. So it's Georgia.
No, okay, all right. Yeah, we're you know, the allergies are coming out, so I'm hermetically sealing myself in a Ziploc bag until October. So
I'm currently in a bubble.
you're a bubble demon. You're a necro bubbler. I see. I would have had to spend some more time working on that one. Well, but as you say, it is in fact recap time for Operation Buried Debits. And but first, of course, we had mentioned the last time that we recorded a Warpants that we had a couple of episodes in the can, a couple of episodes of the Pants Cast in the can, and I am happy to report that I just I squirted those out this afternoon, so hopefully they will be available to you by the time that you hear this. They should be, for crying out Pete. I'm gonna have to take a look at the SoundCloud. SoundCloud. I'm learning as I go along here. SoundCloud is actually, I think, more of a hosting service than it is a place where you can, direct your RSS feed so that folks can access it through their site. But so they want money to store files, and I've already got a file host service, so I don't need that. So, but they will let me put a couple episodes up at a time. So I think going forward, what is likely to happen is that the SoundCloud will have as many of the most recent episodes as I can put up there and get away without paying an exorbitant monthly fee, or it seems exorbitant to me. So just want to give that little update, but the rest of them, the iTunes, the Google Play, the Spotify, the Stitcher, those all seem to be doing just fine. So please do be looking for your Warpants to be landing there soon, TM. So anyhow, yeah, we are currently into Warframe's version 24.5.1, which includes the conclusion of the Operation Buried Debits. Yes, it does. Yes, indeed. So it had the three parts. It had some data hashes to start us out, where you went around and scanned these data sources. And sorry, maybe you can talk a little bit about what those data hashes actually gave you. It doesn't appear. It looks like it was part of a community goal, and so once a sufficient number of folks had scanned all the hashes, that the goal was satisfied, and so then the benefit was realized by everyone. But is that how you understand it's working?
Much, yeah. It was just a dirty job, and someone had to do it. I will say there was sort of a side benefit to doing it, which I found a lot of other collectibles that had nothing to do with the event, as far as I could tell, that I would not have been in those nooks and crannies looking for other things. I would never have found those.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. I mean, do you think that they put those there on purpose, or do you think that that was just a lucky happenstance?
I think it must have been on purpose. A lot of them, anyway. One time I ended up in the wrong cave, and I did find one there.
Well, that's nice. I mean, I would imagine, they would have DE would have received some feedback, and with some people saying, "Oh, this is kind of cool," it's like a scavenger hunt, and other people saying, "This is really boring," and why doesn't this game ever do anything exciting anymore? Boo hoo hoo hoo. But and as we know, and I think we continue to have reinforced for us, DE does listen to feedback, and they make changes based on that feedback. So they take what they hear from us, Tenno, and they take it seriously. And if they feel that the health of the game, of the community, of the player base, if there's something that needs to be addressed, they're not afraid to do that. And sometimes, for some folks, it comes across as tough love, and of course they don't agree, or they don't want it. But I think for the larger group, that I've yet to see something that I thought was really a poor choice. And I will jump forward a little bit here. An example of this is the one thing that I have found, and I'm the noob guy. I think it has been still less than a month since I started playing. Could that be right? It's about a month,
Sure.
about a month to 6 weeks. And so anyway, the only thing that I had seen, because I sort of read up a little bit on the whole free-to-play business model, and how they were applying that. And the one thing I had found in the store that I thought, I'm not really feeling this. This is feeling a little loot boxy. Is that they would offer for platinum, so essentially for real money, unless you're deep into the Riven markets. Card packs, mod packs for your collection, and the thing about it is that they were random, and there was no real way to tell. I mean, I think they would tell you that you would get in a pack, you would get at least 2 rare, and some 50-50 chance at getting something better than that, or something along those lines. So they would tell you sort of the collectible class quality of the card, but they wouldn't give you any specifics beyond that. And so what they've decided to do, they wanted to get rid of that because they felt like it was too much like gambling. So they instead are going to be releasing themed packs. So I don't know if you're going to actually get the specific cards that you want, but you will be able to purchase mod packs that are centered around a particular theme. So I don't know if it's going to be weapon cards with cold damage, or warframe cards that auras. Maybe you can get a pack of auras for your different frames. So anyway, I mean, it's still not, hey, like I get to look at the card and see exactly what it does, and then I get to give you a certain amount of money for it. It's still going to be we're going to give you a fancy package, and you open it up and be surprised. But I still think that that's a move in the right direction. Do you agree, sir?
I think it kind of reminds me of like opening a pack of Magic the Gathering cards or something similar, where you're guaranteed a certain level of rarity. I would be very hesitant to have them introduce the actual ability to directly buy cards, because so much of the game is influenced by what cards you have and how much effort you put in to get them.
And how you learn how to play the cards you got.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had that with. I never played Magic. I did play Gamma World. I know fourth edition Dungeons and Dragons rules, Gamma World, which they were trying to do sort of like a hybrid system between fourth edition D&D rules and then also adding in sort of a Magic-like component. So basically, you had a lot of cards, and so you would buy packs of these cards and you didn't have to buy too many of them, and you just ended up with a whole pile of duplicates that you had no use for. And it's like, so that turned me off. But I had some friends that they were way into it, and they were always saying, "Hey, I got all these cards I can't use. Do you want any of them?" I said, "Are those the same cards that you offered me last week that you had too many of?" They go, "Well, yeah." It's like, okay, well, no, I still don't need them. But it's I don't like that aspect of game marketing. I think that sort of takes away from the reason we're all there, which is to have fun, and you want to build something up. You want to work towards something. You want to create a sense of accomplishment for you and for your group that you're playing with. And I think gambling on lottery tickets is not the best way to get to that place. But that's obviously that's just my subjective interpretation of it. So anyway, but I thought I'd point that out because I can't remember how we got here. How the hell did we get data hashes? Yes, data hashes. So and we did get in the first part here of back to the Operation Buried Boots. We got the data hashes done. I still don't understand exactly what it gave us. Oh, I know what I was getting. Is did you get any kind of story out of that? Where I mean, it seemed to me like I was getting like there was like a story component within those.
Yeah, so the whole thing was kind of a broken up prologue to the actual Buried Death story.
Okay. So this is leading up to our trip to Deck 12.
Correct.
Okay, and do you know, is that information? I'm guessing probably somewhere like on Reddit or on a fan wiki, that they would have that information available to folks. Do you know?
I'm sure. I think by the time you finish the boss fight, there's nothing that you would have learned otherwise that you would not know by the time you were done with that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a nice teaser.
Well, but that boss fight. I mean, obviously, the dialogue of the big spider, the big orb, the exploiter orb. From her dialogue, obviously there's a very rich and emotional story there. So that makes me sort of think, oh, did I miss something in the data hashes? I'm concerned. Do I need to go back and research? Were there bits of information about Rujude and her sisters and memories from their past or something? I don't know. That was just something that crossed my mind.
Just a little bit. They talk about it and how she can't remember their names and stuff like that. But you'll also get a lot of that. I think part of the problem when we did the boss fight is we played with other players. And when you play in a public group, they're always going to skip to the next thing as fast as possible. But if you actually go in that room and explore, there's a lot of dialogue that you get.
Okay. Well, it's that is one of the downsides of playing with a public group. So, but that's the worst trouble you got. You got it pretty good. So anyway, after we got the data hashes, and then we both got well more than 100 fissure closure credits. And so at the end of that, of course, that sweet Opticore Vandal, yeah. And sort of a side benefit of all those fissure closures, I was able to max rank a lot of gear doing those. It was stuff was just popping off left and right because we worked on that for what, probably, I don't know, better part of a week, I guess.
At least 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, we were hitting it pretty hard. So I mean, that was, and I know you were playing more than I was, but That was, it was, I found it engaging. I could see how it would become repetitive for some folks, but I still found it engaging because, I mean, it was just so much going on all at once. There was no way I was going to get bored, because I was, trying to keep from dying. But did you, you being the veteran of the game, how did that aspect of this operation work for you, as far as compared to previous operations?
Really enjoyed it. I like the fact that the fissures are kind of placed randomly, so they can appear in lots of different difficult terrain to defend or easy terrain to defend on. So the difficulty really changes based on the placement.
Uh-huh.
And then I really enjoyed how difficult the enemies were, unlike past events. So I had to actually bring my A game and all this stuff.
There were some tough ones. I mean, because what level were they dropping on us there?
E5.
Yeah. So there was no cakewalk. And then they came in some pretty brutal waves too. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And there was something very satisfying when when the fissure closed up and went, that was very cool. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And in the boss fight when you dropped a coolant canister into the fissures that are created there by the Mama Exploiter. It made a very satisfying, sort of rift in time space continuum, sealing up, behind you kind of thing. So I thought that was very cool.
I did like how they tied that all together.
Yes, indeed. I think that they thought about that very hard, and they planned it very well. So I was in, and speaking of the sort of the end of the battle, because basically you go into deck 12, which is an old, is basically, that was Fortuna, right? Or the city of Fortuna?
There was a different city that the rebellion lived in prior to Fortuna.
Okay, because it looks very, very similar to Fortuna. So similar architecture.
I think it's the kind of cookie cutter space thing where they make a lot of them somewhere and then they break them down.
Yeah, but it was recognizable. It was definitely recognizable.
Absolutely.
So then you did a couple of things, and then Mama Exploiter fell from the ceiling, and you had to take out some cooling vents on her, because I guess the idea is, the big picture, the way to defeat her is to make her overheat, and then go splody-splode. And so, you knock out some cooling vents. She has her minions that come and try to help her by providing coolant. You take those out. And then you reach a point where she says, this isn't going well. I think I'll just go to the current Fortuna and settle a couple of scores there, and then, call it a day. So we follow her up back to the surface, and that's where the final battle takes place. And it was, I thought it was a good mechanic for a boss battle. It was, it was interesting in that it wasn't just, bring your biggest, baddest gun and you just, empty the clip, reload, empty the clip, reload, repeat. You had to deal with the little, what are they called? Rack something or other. Arachnoids, the cooling bots, which were kind of cool. They like had, like a little Tupperware thing on top of their head that was full of coolant, and they would come running out, and you'd have to blow them up, and they would drop a coolant, which you would then use to close one of the fissures that Mama Exploiter was creating, on account of she was really upset, and that would produce some thermium, volatile thermium, which you would then be able to take and throw at her. And so that was really the way you kind of had to bring her down, was by throwing empty beer bottles at her. And
then you get to rip parts of her off when she overheats.
Right, and then I guess you're supposed to fire into those exposed vents, and then that would do some critical type damage to her, and then eventually she dies, and we all say hooray, and And then, of course, the coup de grace. You got to run through what comes pouring out of her backside to scoop up all the loots before she blows up.
And the blast distance on that thing is crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was. I think it was 500 meters. I think anything within 500 meters was supposed to die.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I thought I didn't think I was that far away, but I was running as fast as I could. But I just, I was, when you said that after she went down and you said, oh, you got to go run under her backside and grab all the loot before she explodes. I'm like going, no, dude, really? Come on. I know I'm the new guy, but come on, really? But of course I trust you. And so I did. And so I picked up a couple of sweet things, including some Hildren parts, which I don't need, but that's okay. I'll make some. Maybe I'll make Hildren a twin sister. That would be kind of cool, huh? And it's too bad you can't run two of them together at the same time. You could. Ooh, I wonder if I could make a Hildren with two heads. That would be awesome.
Why can't we build our own warframes like you could in the original Mech Warrior, or not the original, but the Mech Warrior 4?
No, because it would just be disturbing, which is the things we would come up with, especially, a little foreshadowing here, given all of the upset over them nerfing, I suppose, Wisp's assets. Can you imagine the folks that get butthurt about something like that was not an intended pun. Butthurt over something like that, what they would put together given free reign.
What is disturbing to some is very attractive to others.
Well, that yes, and then maybe it would be like an expansion for Agony or something. But yeah, no, it's it was a lot of fun, and I love boss fights like that. It's like I don't do them as often as I would like, just because it seems like I'm always trying to. Well, actually, I haven't played an MMO like this in a very long time. Because you don't really have boss fights like this in Sea of Thieves or in other things like Arma or. Even in GTA, you never really had boss fights like this. Where you're dealing with something supernatural like this. Something that's just crazy big and scary. So anyway, it was not since Guild Wars has there been have I been involved in boss fights like this, and so it's good to be back to it. So yeah, you any final thoughts on the operation itself?
I thought they did a really good job of making everything feel like a very cohesive experience, and the boss fight itself was awesome. They made it feel epic.
Yes, that's a great word for it, epic. And I understand. I guess I think that there were some issues with grouping, that people were having difficulty grouping up ahead of either ahead of time, or they would lose their group while down in deck 12. But I believe that Steve Sinclair tweeted out something about that they're going to extend the deadline. Though my understanding is that it's still going to, that this boss fight is still going to exist in the game going forward. I don't know if it will be there all the time or just from time to time. It will go active. But so if you haven't had a chance to get to it, try to get to it in the next sometime this week. But if not, chances are you won't have missed out completely, and it'll be back soon to a subterranean, post-apoc city near you. How's that? All right, and so DevStream. Did you get a chance to watch DevStream 125?
Not yet.
Okay, it's definitely worth watching. Now I say that from the perspective of noob guy, because I haven't seen that many of their live streams, but I know coming off of Star Citizen, where we used to watch the live streams or the dev streams, the weekly content, the community content on a regular basis. It was fine. It was a lot of useful information, and they had. Steve Sinclair was out there, and a couple of other guys who I recognize their faces, but I don't know their names yet. And then, of course, Space Mom, who was fighting off some form of the plague, which she was attempting to medicate with buckets of antihistamine, and that was only working so well. But she put in a yeoman's effort, and they did about 45 minutes of entertaining show. So just kind of in no particular order, I'll go through some bullet points here, and we can discuss them real quick. Conservation is coming to Plains of Eidolon, and for that you will win floofs. Now, please to be explaining to me what the hell a floof is.
So in reward for getting a certain number of tags for animals that you've conserved, they will give you essentially like a Beanie Baby stuffed animal version of the animal that you helped preserve.
And is this a ship decoration?
Yes, it is something you can put on your ship.
Can you put it on your K drive?
I don't think so, but that would be awesome. I think it would fall off pretty quickly, but
well, you'd have to mount it. You know, it would have to be like you would have to get a hard shell floof.
I want one as a hood ornament.
Exactly. Yeah, you would bolt it to the nose, and you could have it be all fierce and stuff. You have it be like the angry little hobbit, charging off towards Minas Tirith. Just be awesome. And so anyway, that's coming. It's going to be a thing where you're going to be able to do conservation quests or tasks out there on Plains of Eidolon. And I just got my first quest from the guy at the relay to start conserving animals. I chased a moa around the practice thing that they, you have to prove yourself worthy to be given the job. I guess it's like a job interview, but where you have to chase a moa around an inside warehouse thing and track it down and conserve it. And I was like screaming at my computer as a stupid thing. I took to shooting it until I got stunned, and then I conserved it. I'm sure it must have died. It must have died like minutes later. But anyway, I got the job.
Nice.
Let's see, and I did mention that the random mod packs for sale for Plat are going to be going away. They're going to be themed mod packs, and so the purchaser will have better information before making their purchase decision. So I think that's a good thing. Nyx Deluxe and no, is Nyx Deluxe not out now? Nyx Deluxe skin, I guess it is.
Not as far as I know.
Okay, so that's coming out, and with it, a spiffy new shotgun skin. So that's going to be very, very cool. And it was unclear what the shotgun skin was for, if it was for a specific gun. No one on the dais there seemed to know, but they were supposing that it was the Tiras. Is that the name of it? Is it a Tiras, or anyway? It's supposed to be one of the better shotguns. Secondary energy colors for formed frames is going to be a thing. So once you form a frame, then you will be able to go in there and add a secondary energy color. And so I don't know, like if you wanted to have flames coming out of your head be a different color than flames that are on your weapons, or different ways that you have energy. Like suppose like my mag, who has a lot of electric type crackly bits on some of her assets. If she has a flaming weapon, then she can have that be a different color. So that would be, I think that's neat. And boo, sadness. Wisp's assets are now 10% more discreet. They covered her butt up, is basically what it worked out to. I guess last week when Space Mom demoed the model, she was wearing an unfinished version of the alt helmet for Wisp that was lacking some like flowing cloth that comes off the back. So It's yeah. So, and I think I mentioned to you in chat the other night. You know, as they were describing this, and Space Mom was trying to like play it off like, oh, it's no big deal. It's just this thing I left out, you know. And Steve is over there. He's going, I can hear people canceling their pre-orders on this now. What do you mean that's no big deal? Because that was quite the demonstration from from a couple weeks ago. But which also leads me to a question: what the heck is Tenogen? Because I'm seeing like on the Steam Workshop, I'm seeing, and then also ads for Tenogen. I'm seeing what looks like user created skins. Is that a thing for Warframes?
Yes. So anyone can go into the mod workshop and they could submit a creation, and people will vote on it. And if it gets enough votes, it'll get some attention from the actual developers, and it has to fit certain standards to make it into the actual game. But once they do that, and they've hit a review process, and usually it's a themed contest to actually get submissions entered, but sometimes it's just whatever gets votes, and those people actually get they get paid for when you buy those assets.
Okay. So this is not what. And I'm sorry, you were cutting out there a little bit, so I apologize if I'm restating something. But this isn't a thing where I can download a skin and put it onto my existing player in the game, like we used to be able to do with Unreal Tournament and Quake and games like that.
No, these skins are submitted through an official review process.
Oh, okay. And so then they would become available within the marketplace in the game. Then that's where I would see them, that I could put them on my frame.
Exactly, and a lot of people have actually made it out of they've made it off welfare just by submitting art to Warframe and getting paid for that.
That's very cool. That is very cool. It's nice to see talent like that have an avenue for being recognized. You know, that's very
Absolutely
cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's because I saw some stuff and I'm just like, wow, that looks really cool. And I'm looking for the download button on the Steam page. I'm not seeing it there. I'm like going, okay, prepare yourself for disappointment because you're getting way too excited about this.
Should give them a thumbs up. Maybe they'll make it in.
I did. I gave it a thumbs up and added it to my favorites, and took a screenshot and rented billboard space outside the office here. It's yeah. If this doesn't get in, I'm going to kill myself. Not just kidding.
It's a drastic line.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm a gamer of enthusiasms. Oh, speaking of allergies. Yes. Okay. Yes. So now, and Wisp is going to be coming with her own primary weapon, which it appears to be a shotgun. And it looks to be like it might be a shotgun with a silencer. So, like, how cool is that? I mean, can you like imagine like Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men, with that silencer he had on his shotgun, how badass that was.
I imagine it can only be so quiet, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be quiet, but if it makes that badass silencer sound, where instead of like a shotgun, it sounds like somebody beating on the underside of your trunk lid trying to get out of the car, boom, boom, something like that.
Practice tennis ball machine.
Exactly. If it sounds like a tennis ball machine up against your little brother, I mean, who could ask for anything more than that? Mom, make him stop! I wasn't doing anything. Leave me alone. Oh, and also with her is going to be some Kavat armor too. So that's very, very cool. Let me see if I have the link here, if I can pop it into the Discord for you here real quick, because it really is there's a cool recap here of the whole thing. Oh, stop spinning.
You can always go for more fashion pet stuff.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right, it's up there in the green room, the green room for you. So yeah, if you scroll down there, you can see the you can see the skin for the Nyx Deluxe shotgun, which is kind of cool. It's a little I don't know, what do you call that? Art Nouveau, I suppose. Although the neon version a little less that and a little more something else. And then the secondary color thing, if you're scrolling down, you can see how they've added an extra box there for secondary energy. The Wisp alt helmet, you can see the terrible thing that has done, and then that sweet looking shotgun. Oh my god, look at that. I guess it's a shotgun. I don't know, they didn't say, they weren't sure what kind of primary weapon it was that Wisp is getting, but it looks really cool. And if that ain't a silencer, I don't know what is. And then
definitely looks like one.
And then the Kavat armor, how cool is that?
Pretty slick.
Yeah. So and then the next and I think I had mentioned this too, and I think I had it right, that the next Prime not Prime Vault, Prime Access. The next Prime Access is going to be Equinox. And I guess she comes with like a whole bunch of different outfits. She has nighttime outfits and daytime outfits. Do you have an Equinox?
I do not, but I know a little bit about them. And then it has two forms, and it has two separate sets of powers and outfits based on which of those forms you're in.
Oh, okay. So, but I guess it's coming with all of it, so all the necessary costumes. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. And then here's if you scroll down again, you can see your killer attack floofs there, and the Plains of Eidolon remastered preview. So it's what did I got to go back to my notes here. Back to my notes. What Steve said was that it is going to be 980,000% better. No, 980,000 times better than it currently is. So that's a lot better. But it's if you watch that little snippet of video there, it's the water just looks amazing, and just everything about the sun, the sunset, the light filtration. I mean, very much. Very reminiscent of some of the better moments in Sea of Thieves. So I'm excited for that, and potentially here within a couple weeks. I mean, I don't know how to take this. After all these years of and then in Q2 of next year, we're shooting to give you, a hand grip for your throttle. It's like, they're showing these stuff and they go, yeah, if I don't get it to you next week, it'll be the week after that. I don't know how to react. I mean, it's just, well, I do know how to react, but I wish I didn't, because it's embarrassing sometimes. Let's see, wrapping up here, what else? They didn't have any ability powers to reveal for the old Whispers just yet. See what I did there? Whispers.
Maybe it's a secret.
Yeah, it's a secret. And they are avoiding the question that I have not sent in yet, which I am beginning to take personal. That she should cost, that her frame should cost at least 5 plat less on account of she doesn't have any feet. So no feet, it should be a little bit cheaper. I
think you have to take into account the value of the other assets,
which they covered up.
I'm looking at the actual what they used to cover it up, and I can see enough for my purposes, and I'm not too worried about it.
You done got no feet, Lieutenant Wisp. Dude, I wrote that down, and I've been waiting all day to say that to you. Oh God. Oh, so, and then we talked about Equinox Prime is going to be the next Prime Access, and all of her fancy dresses. And oh yeah, tomorrow we are recording this on Monday the 18th. Tomorrow, which would be Tuesday the 19th, go figure. The 2019 Tenno Con digital pack is going to be dropping. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what's inside of that. I understand that there's usually like a skin or something. So you know, I'm going to pay attention and see what happens there. But yeah, because TennoCon is coming up. It's going to be, I think it's like in 111 days or something like that. So coming up, not too far off. It's going to be here before the next winter gets here, and so that's a good thing. Yep.
6 moons from now.
6 moons and 3 valleys to the left. So, anything else? You got anything else about kind of the operation or what's happened since last time we chatted that's happened to you in game that you want to share? Fine if not.
I think the only thing I wanted to say was the biggest difference between a dev stream in Star Citizen versus Warframe is you actually have a chance to see the thing that you're looking at in the stream within the next month or two.
Right. You're not seeing stuff that's way down the road. You know, and it's also a thing I noticed is it's kind of their dev streams are kind of a mashup of ATV and RTV, what RTV used to be. You know, so they're very informal, but they're definitely covering a sort of a set script. So they're not, you know, just showing up and saying, "Hey, ask us questions and we'll answer 1 out of 10 of them," you know, but be funny about it. You know, they've got a script that they're following, but they're also, it's very casual. It's a lot of jokes, and it seems pretty apparent, unless they're doing a really good job of acting, that they all really get along well and like each other. So I think that's a very cool thing.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. So highly encourage anyone who has not seen it yet to definitely check it out. But before you do that, you need to go to gleepsgaming.fun for stuff and links. And meet us over on our Discord server. Come out and play Warframe with us. Come on out and let us see your war pants! Yeah! I've got too much congestion to do a good army early. Let us see your war pants! So anyway, until next time, I'm still Gleep, he's still Sorrien, and this has been Warpants version 24.5.1.
Don't forget to check out randomdystopianfutures.com.
Yes. Do not forget. All right. Good night, everybody.